Chris, your harness has been completed. So 3Z, 6-speed, automatic, basically broken down the whole harness. We have taken off all of that stuff that Toyota used to put on, that grey closure tubing, and we replaced it all with this sprag. This is not a split. It's an actual tube. So every terminal, every seal has been replaced on this system. Okay. Only the connectors that were in bad shape have been replaced. You had some that were in great shape. Okay, so generally all of your coil connectors, all of them never need to be replaced. They're just already, I don't know what Toyota did, but yeah, these just do not go bad. Even on the really earlier 2UZs, for some reason, I don't know if they changed the plastic or whatever they did, but yeah, they just don't go bad. All of your injector connectors have been replaced. We do not go with the Toyota clamps and whatnot, so we make our own brackets. Okay, and when we construct the harness, we basically put a skeletal frame in, even on a rebuild. Okay, so you can see this harness is pretty, it's solid. Okay, it's not gonna wobble around. It's not gonna. I actually haven't got this back bolt on here, as you can see, but yeah, it's extremely solid. It's not going to rub up against anything. Okay, and it should last you for many years to come. Coming down here, you've got your O2 sensor, you've got your airflow meter connector, you have your alternator connector. Okay, oil control valve, you've got your throttle, 6-pin throttle body. Okay, you've got your EFI water temp sensor. We add in this one over here, which is for a temperature gauge. So if you have a look underneath your EFI water temp sensor, there's a little stopper plug over there. You can just see it there, right? You unscrew that and you use the old LS400 temperature sender unit. Okay, that'll screw straight into those threads over there, and that'll plug straight onto it. So you want to aim there to like about 1995, something like that. And then you may need to calibrate it to your gauge. Okay, it all depends there, but I can go through all of that with you. It's not a problem. Okay, you have obviously all of your injectors. Between these two, you've got your cam sensor, or the post VVT cam sensor. This is just a noise filter. Okay, and then don't forget about this one over here. It's a 2-pin for your variable intake length. So that goes down underneath your plenum chamber for. It's got a VSV valve, and it's got a vacuum chamber. Basically, it stores vacuum, changes the length of your intake ports. Gives you better low end torque and whatnot. You have a earth strap on the right hand bank. You've got another one over here on the left hand bank. Okay, make sure if you've done. A lot of guys paint their cylinder heads and stuff. Just make sure that you've scraped off the paint over there, and make sure you've got a proper earth. And then on your second bolt over here, it's worth taking an earth strap to your firewall on both cylinder heads, I would say. Toyota only do the one cylinder head, but I would suggest doing both. Okay. So 6-speed, I'm actually running it on a 5-speed motor and just changed the throttle body. So my harness on here for the starter mode is actually, it's running a different connector. I've put one on here for new harnesses. So this doesn't plug into the back here, but obviously your sub harness will plug straight into that. I've just put in this bridge cable so that we can start her and test run her. Okay, on this side again you've got your earth. You've got this one coming down over here for your right or your left hand O2 sensor. I'll plug that in a moment. And then it runs down, goes to your solenoids, which I've not plugged in because this is a 5-speed system. Okay, you got your output speed sensor, and then running on this side you have your neutral safety switch, and on this side on the 6-speed you've got your input speed sensor. Okay, the side exactly the same as the other side. The only other difference, so here's you've got another noise filter for the side, for the left side. Okay, you have your VSV for your evap. Okay, again you've got your pre or your post VVT, obviously all of your injectors and coils, okay, oil control valve, pre-VVT cam sensor, okay. This goes to your aircon compressor clutch. Now you've got the one where it's got a variable stroke compressor, so that works with the resistance value. If you don't know how that works, let me know via email, and I will give you a detailed description of exactly what to do. Okay, but you can basically adjust the stroke of your compressor. It's not just a simple on and off. Okay, and then running down here goes behind the aircon compressor, and it runs down and it goes to your crank position sensor. Okay, and then it runs through here, and it goes to your oil. So you can see over there it's plugged in to your oil pressure switch. Okay, if you want to run a oil pressure gauge, you need to just change your sender unit or your switch to a sender unit. It's a bigger one. Okay, it takes exactly the same connector. If you're doing that, then you'll obviously not have an oil pressure light, but you'll have a gauge. So let me know there if you need any assistance there. If you're using a standard light, then that's the sender or switch that you would use. And it'll plug straight in. Okay, coming down here, it bridges off, goes to your fuse box. Okay, and you've got all of your fuses. You've got an engine light in there. These are a replaceable LED bulb. Okay, so if it ever does go bad, you can pull it out and replace it. Never switch on the ignition with this bulb not in there, because the terminals are very close, and if the one's obviously an ignition positive and the other one's your engine light. Okay, so if those touch, so the bulb's not in there, and if those touch, it could damage, or it will actually damage the ECU. So don't do that. And these bulbs should not go bad anyway. Starter relay, you got your fuel control relays, you got your EFI main relays. So on your fuel control relays, you have two here. So there's two different systems that we run on this. You have basically a power output that's capable of about safely I would say 7.5 amp. Okay, a lot of guys, they go extreme and they go with these big fuel pumps for absolutely no reason. So I would avoid that. But yeah, if you can use that to trigger a relay, or you can run it directly. I think the standard Toyota fuel pump is about 7.5 amp. Okay, and then the second relay is actually a FC signal. So what it does is it takes, so the ECU gives out an FC signal, but the FC signal is not capable of triggering two relays. Okay, so we've got the FC signal triggering your fuel control relay for your positive output, and then that will also trigger a negative output. Okay, if you are building this into, I can't remember what you're building this into, but if you're building it into a Toyota or any vehicle that has a negative trigger for the OEM, fuel management in the vehicle, then you can use that other output. Okay, so all of that's marked in your documentation. Fuse box, underneath the fuse box lid, you got all of your info there of what's going on inside the fuse box. Okay, runs down, you got a bridge connector. This is basically an earth bridge. Okay, so there you've got nothing to do there, and then you have your 5 ECU connectors. These are the connectors that you're going to be working with as far as the vehicle goes. Okay, this is your main, this 10-pin connector over here is your main connector for the starting of the engine, running it, and your instrument cluster. So you got your start, ignition, fuel, you got your rev counter, temperature gauge, you got your oil light, charge light, you've got your engine light, you've got your aircon compressor. And you'll see there in the middle you've got two. You've got the red one, which is your positive output for the 7.5 amp fuel pump. The blue with the white is your FC signal. So you're going to use one or the other. All of that is documented. I'll go through that in a minute with you. Okay, and all of these systems on automatic, we give this as a standard. Okay, so I know that you said you didn't want this in your client form, but we put it in anyway, is for your cruise control. Okay, it's basically 3 wires. You're running automatic, so it's basically 3 wires. 2 of them go down to your brake light switch. One's are normally open, one's are normally closed, and the third one is your CCS, which is your to your cruise control lever. And the way that works is it gives different resistances according to, if you're going to coast, if you're going to cancel, if you're going to start, speed up, slow down, whatever. Okay, all of that info is again in your client folder. Okay, this is to do with your hang on. This is to do with your transmission. Okay, so you've got your park, reverse, neutral, drive. You've got your S mode, so it's going to put in manual mode or into paddle shift. Okay, and then you've got your shift up, shift down. Okay, and your blue one here is SPD, so that's a signal that you can drive into your ECU for your vehicle speed. Okay, again, all of that's very well documented. And then this 12-pin connector is to do with your OBD2 and your throttle body, or your accelerator pedal. Okay, so all of that's been pre-wired. This is basically a harness that you plug into this, and it goes into the cab. Well, it goes to the other side of the cab, driver's side of the vehicle, and then you can plug in your accelerator pedal, and it gives you a bridge out for your OBD2 connector. So let me quickly go through this with you. You've basically got, so here's your main client plug. That's your 10-pin plug for the engine running and your instrument cluster, and then in here you've got a document that will go through literally every single connection in that connector. So it'll tell you exactly what's going on. There is your cruise control document. Okay, again, sorry, we go through it pretty in depth, so it's, I don't know, 7 pages or something. You've got your transmission document. You've got your, this is the patch harness, so this is the one that goes into that 12-pin connector. And then you've got your plug for your OBD2, and you've got your connector for your accelerator pedal. And again, there you've got your document that'll explain everything. And then there's your ECU. So we go through these. We've removed immobilizer. We've put on a performance tune on here for you. We've removed secondary O2 sensors. It's set up for automatic. Okay, and yeah, it should be all rock and roll. Calibration data has been changed because we reflash it. Okay, so we've changed it to the appropriate calibration and modified that calibration, so that is why we put on our own tag. But yeah, you should have no issues there at all. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly throw on the air filter or the air box or the intake manifold, plug in an airflow meter, and then we will give her a test run and a DTC scan. Chris, okay, so I've put on the air intake tube, okay, and plugged in the airflow meter. We'll supply you one of these. These are it's an airflow meter airflow meter housing that we make and give it. Just let me know if you want one that's got a square flange. You're going to build a proper airbox, or you're going to put on a cone filter. If you're going to put on a cone filter, you're obviously going to need round to round. Or if you're going to build a box, then we actually put a flange on here with an O-ring, with 4 bolt holes and whatnot. Okay, so that's just preference. I prefer a box than an air filter. The cone filter, I don't really like them. But yeah, okay, so you can see here, engine lights on, switch the ignition on. Okay, kind of bright, but yeah. Plugged in your ECU, and we'll give her a run. I'm just going to prime it a little bit here with the fuel. she started up there. So these are basically intelligent ECUs. Okay, you're gonna need to start it and then switch it off and start it and switch it off and start it and switch it off. You're gonna need to do that probably 3 or 4 times. Okay, and then from there she's gonna be a completely different animal. But yeah, I hope that you enjoy it. If you've got any troubles or if you need any information or advice or whatever, just shoot us through an email and we are there to assist you wherever we can.